Hi guys, it's Jolly. So today I'm going to be recording a first impression and a second look. You guys know I'm a total Nars girl, so I'm really excited about this product. It's the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in Caramel. Now I did previously have this concealer in the stick form in the same color Caramel, so I will swatch these side by side later for you guys. And I also had ordered, I went and picked this up in the color Biscuit, and I thought that I would use that under the eye, but I found that Biscuit was too light and it caused flashback in photos for me. So a lot of people talk about SPF causing flashback in photos. On me, I will get that ghostly look when using flash photography, that too pale look. Not only from, you know, some things with SPF, but also if something is just too light, like even if it looks okay in person, if a foundation or concealer is too light, it'll come up really light in flash photos for me, and that's what Biscuit did to me. So I did actually already try this on the skin to make sure it was the right color and stuff, but I want to show you guys it in action, and I want to show you, I just found that this is such a good color match for my skin, which happens to me a lot with Nars products, and that's one of the reasons that I love them so much. But I decided many foundations just don't match me well enough, and I'm kind of wanting to move away maybe from, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I kind of have started to move away from liquid foundations. I love my Nars Tinted Moisturizer still, but as far as foundation, like with things that have enough coverage, I just find that they lean too yellow or too orange or too red. There's always something wrong with them, and I think I find a better match from things that are a little more sheer, and I have more of an oily skin type too, so I'm moving towards like powders and things like that. And this is such a good match for me that I was like, maybe I can use this and just put powder on top and get like a full coverage look. So that's what I'm going to be trying out today. And I'm going to be trying that out with a second look at the Makeup Forever Pro Finish sample that I've tried on previously in the color 173 and Neutral Amber. And I got this sample from Sephora. It came with a little sponge that I don't use. But I wanted to show you guys how this looks, because if you saw the other time I tried it on, I liked it, but I accidentally applied it. I didn't think I was going to be wearing makeup, and I applied my nighttime moisturizer, which is just pure argan oil. But I wanted to see, since it's a powder, over the oil, it made it almost look like a liquid, because it just pulled it all together really nicely, like between the liquid and the powder. It created this happy medium, and it was really nice on the skin. But I don't think I'll generally be doing that. It felt a little bit heavy because I was wearing it in oil under my makeup. So I want to try it out with my regular moisturizer. This does contain argan oil, and it's by Josie Maran. It was in my last favorites video. But this is, it has SPF 40. This is a moisturizer. So I usually apply like a pump and a half. And, this is not a straight oil. This is just like any SPF moisturizer. So I just want to do a second look at the powder foundation without the oil underneath, in a way that that I would actually be using it more often. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this moisturizer, and I'll be back with you guys. Alright guys, so I'm just going to wait 5 minutes or so for the moisturizer to kind of, settle into my skin before I apply my concealer. And then I'm going to move on to applying the powder on top of the concealer. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes after the moisturizer has had a chance to set into my skin, so that it doesn't, break down the concealer that I'm going to apply. So be back in about 5. Bye. Hey guys, so I actually waited about 10 minutes just because, I don't know, I usually wait like 5 to 10. I was watching a YouTube video. Anyway, I'm going to put this concealer all over the blemishes on my face, and then I'm going to follow up with the Makeup Forever powder and see how it does coverage-wise. So let's see. Put some here. I'm going to start by just dotting it on. And then it has this little hole where like product will come out, so that's what I just like used. But anyway, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now that's over my whole face. And I'm going to come back and do under my eyes after, because I'm using a different brush for that. But I'm going to use this Urban Decay shadow brush that it's really thin, and I like to use it for concealer. I think it came with my Naked palette. But I'm going to just blend the concealer. I find that the coverage of this concealer is really, really good. And it's a good color match for me. So now I'm just going to kind of give that an opportunity to dry a bit. And like just set before I attack it with the brush. Because I'm going to be applying my powder with a brush. And, well, we'll get into that in a bit. But I just think that it helps. If you're putting your concealer on, like concealer is very pigmented. So if I can avoid it, I try not to put it on over my foundation. And some people feel like if you put it under your foundation, you're going to wipe it off. But I'm using a brush. I'm going to use this Makeup Forever Kabuki brush that came in my HD kit. And it's a very dense kabuki brush, so I feel like the coverage that I get with a powder foundation compact is comparable to a sponge because it's so dense, but at the same time, it's not as aggressive on my skin as a sponge, so it doesn't wipe off the concealer, I find. And I feel like just because concealer is so pigmented, it's hard for it to, you know, blend perfectly with your skin because you really don't see your skin through it because the point of it is that it is high coverage. So I just feel like if I put on my concealer first, as long as I'm not rubbing it away, I'm going to have a more seamless look if I put my foundation on top of it because you're just going to see that one color as opposed to seeing spots where I put a concealer color that's not going to exactly match the foundation. I hope that makes sense. So now I'm just going to do under my eyes, and I'm just going to dot this not too high up because then I find that it tends to cake under the any concealer. Like if I apply it too high, too close to the lower lash line, it'll cake right there. So I think that's enough. Actually, it might look like a lot, but I don't know. It's just this concealer, I find that it really doesn't cake very much. I applied it like throughout the work week, but this is the first time I've really been able to sit down and try it on with a brush and taking my time and using it as part of a real foundation routine because throughout the week, if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you might know that I just wear the Tinted Moisturizer by Nars. I don't wear foundation during the work week because I feel like the process is too time consuming for me to be doing when I have to get to work. I think I'm going to apply just a little bit more. I'm really impressed with the coverage of this under the eye too. Just works really well. And I do find like a lot of people are saying that the peachy salmony colors cover well. Like my Bobbi Brown corrector works really well. And the color is so good for covering up under eye circles. But I'm just not satisfied with like the texture of this product. I don't feel like it stays on very well at all. I don't even feel like it applies well, let alone stays on well. And it's a shame because I love the color. The color really does counteract the dark circles. It's such a perfect color match for that on my skin. Oh, and the brush I'm using right now under my eye, I like to use one of these fluffy dome-shaped brushes that are somewhere between densely and loosely packed with the bristles. This one's by Makeup Geek, and it doesn't have a name on it. But she doesn't have a lot of synthetic brushes on the site that are Makeup Geek brand. And this is one of the synthetic ones. So if you want the exact same one. But I just like to use any fluffy brush. I have applied this, I think, the first time I used this concealer, or one of the times that I used Biscuit or something. I think I did apply it with my fingers, and it works like that, but I prefer the brush because I just feel like it blends out really nicely and non-cakey. So I might, the concealer seems to have set pretty well. I might wait just like another 2 minutes literally, just to really make sure that it sets before I apply my powder with my kabuki brush. So I will be back in a couple minutes. Okay, it's been like literally 2 minutes. I'm tired of waiting. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my foundation. So I'm using the Makeup Forever Pro Finish in 173, as I said. And this was a free sample I got from Sephora.com when it was ordering some other stuff. In Makeup Forever HD in the winter, 170 is a pretty good match for me, but they didn't have 170 available. They had 173, and I think that they're in the same sort of depth, but I think they're different undertones, and this one works pretty well for me. So let's have a second look at this over normal moisturizer as opposed to the argan oil I used last time. I'm going to take my kabuki brush and just get it in there really well until I see it on the product, see the product on the brush. Okay, so I'm just going to take the product now and start buffing it onto my face, and I'm going to keep dipping into here because I want a high coverage, and I'm not using a sponge. I'm using just a brush to avoid disturbing that concealer. And also, it's just a sample, so it's going to be really awkward for me to like try to get a sponge in there. Although I might have done it last time, I don't remember. And I'm going to apply my foundation all over my face with this brush, except under the eye. And I'll show you what I'm going to use there. Let me get the nose. I really like how that's coming together, I have to say. And I will probably try this routine next with my Nars powder foundation that I have in full size. If you guys haven't seen my video on that, it's a very versatile product. You can check it out. I'll leave the link below, and I wear that in Tahoe in the winter. I think I need a different color for the summer though. When I have my tan, just blend it around the eyebrows really well. And what I'm going to do now is put down that kabuki brush. I feel like it's too dense to use under my eye. I don't want to wipe away the brightening effect that I got from the concealer. So I'm going to use my Real Techniques setting brush. This is a really good brush for setting concealer under the eye. The shape is great, and it's dense enough to apply the product in my opinion, but not so dense that it's going to wipe away the creamy product that you used. So I'm just going to, I'm not even rubbing, I'm just like dotting that on. Get some more and do the other side. And I used the powder foundation for that step as well. And what I'm gonna do now is my eyebrows, eyeliner, you know, just finish up my face, probably speed that up, and I'll be back with you guys for the finished look. I'm back, guys. Well, I think that's it. I'm gonna put my earrings on and I'm ready to go. But you know what? I'm really happy with how this came out, and I'm really excited about, you know, it being a powder foundation. And it, you know, it won't make my skin oily. It should last longer than liquids. It won't separate on my face because of the oil in my skin, and it looks really good. I mean, the coverage is really good together with the concealer. And I love how, I like when foundations aren't full coverage because they don't cover up like the contours in my face and stuff. Like if I'm wearing Nars Sheer Glow, I love Nars Sheer Glow, but it, like, it's actually, despite the name, it's pretty, the coverage is pretty good, and I feel like it kind of takes away the contour in my cheek. Like I have to add bronzer or my face just looks really round and flat and huge. This still shows like the contours in my face, but with the concealer added, I have awesome coverage, and like it doesn't look like a powder at all in my opinion. And I'm also really satisfied with like my NARS powder foundation. I haven't worn it in a while, but I'm gonna try that with the NARS concealer next. And I don't know if I'll apply it on camera or not, but I will show you guys how that looks if you're interested in that. And yeah, so I'm totally happy with how this came out, and it just looks really good. I love that NARS concealer. I love the finish of it, and it's one of the few concealers that work well on the face and under the eye, because a lot of the time I'll find that something's too dark to, like I need something usually a bit darker to cover up the dark spots on my face, and then usually that makes it too dark to give me like, you know, the brightness that I need under the eye to cover those dark circles. But this is dark enough for my face, but still illuminates under the eye, and it's really good. I also said I would show you guys caramel in the new liquid swatch next to the older stick formed by the same name. So you guys have probably seen me use this in my really old foundation routine with Nars Sheer Matte. But anyway, this is the new concealer, the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is the old stick form. So you'll notice that this looks, it's more, a little bit more yellow, and this was a little bit more peachy and it was darker. But this worked for me really well under the eye too. I think that, in my opinion, like creams or thicker products like a cream or something that's in a stick, they don't oxidize as much. Liquids tend to oxidize a bit darker than when you first put them on. So that could be why it comes off lighter. But they both work really well for me. So maybe this oxidizes down to looking more the way caramel used to look in this stick form, if that makes sense. I mention oxidation a lot because things, you know, I tend to have like dramatic oxidation. But anyway, I'm running out of space on my camera, but I'm done anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and that's my final take on the Makeup Forever Pro Finish. I think it's a great product, and you should try it out if you're into powder foundation, or if you like the idea of it but you felt like they were cakey. This one is absolutely beautiful. It's up there with my my NARS one. It just doesn't have SPF, but that might be better for like people who are sensitive with a white cast too. So anyway, take care guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.